Hello everyone, my name is Aarohi and welcome back to my channel. So guys, in my previous video, I have explained you what are variables, how to use them, what are the rules you should follow when you declare variables. And this is the example code which we discussed in our last class. And here you will see that in every variable, we are storing single record. In A variable, we are storing single record of data type integer. In B variable, we are storing single record of data type string. In the same way, in C and D variable, we are storing single record of different data types, right? But what if we want to store multiple records in the same variable? Right now, each variable is storing one value. But when we work with real applications, when we work with AI, data science, machine learning, or deep learning, we don't work with one record. We need to store multiple records. And we cannot store multiple records in the variables. Then what should we use so that we can store multiple records under same variable? So that is the concept which we are going to study today. So to store multiple records in a single variable, we use list. So let me show you how to use list. And for that, guys, we will create a separate file and we will do our code in that. And let me close everything so that I can show you that how you will start the Jupyter notebook, how you will create a file and how you will work under it. So let's close everything. Close it. Close this also. And guys, I have done one more thing. In my D drive, I have created a folder with the name of data science. So you also just create one folder, name it data_science, and all the tasks which we are going to learn, everything we are going to keep under this folder only. So this is demo1.ipynb file. This is the file which I was just showing you. Here we have the example related to variables. Now we will create another file inside this folder only and we will work under it. Okay. So what you can do is open command prompt, right? You open command prompt and then enter in the drive where your data science folder is. So in my case, it is in D drive. So I will enter in D drive and then I will enter in this data science folder. So you will write CD data science, enter. See, now in D drive, I am inside the data science folder. Here you will write Jupyter space notebook and enter. You will see that the browser will show you the Jupyter notebook and you can see all the files which are there in a data science folder. So till now we have only one file in the data science folder. See, we have inside this data science folder, we have only this file. So that's why you're seeing one file. Now let's go back to the browser and we will create a new file. For that, you will click on this new Python 3 and first rename this file. Click on this untitled and you can name it. So let's name it list_program.ipynb and click on rename. So this is my file name. Here we are going to work. So I have told you that with the help of list, you can store multiple values under a same variable name. Okay, so how to create a list? Let me show you that. So let's say you have a list with the name of names. This is the list name. And whenever you want to create list, so there is a syntax which you need to follow. So use square brackets. Every time you want to work with list, you want to create list, you will work inside this square bracket. This is the syntax which you need to follow. Now here you can write multiple names. For example, first name is Aarohi. Second name is Anu. Third name is Zubin. Like this, you can store multiple names. Earlier, when we were working with variables, what we did? Let's say this was our variable name and we were storing only single name like this, right? So this is what we did in variable. But now we are working with the list and in list, you can store multiple data points. You can call it data points, you can call it values, you can call it items, right? Means you can store multiple values like this under a single variable name, by making it a list. And how we can make list? By using the square brackets. And guys, shift enter, you will go to the next cell. This cell will be executed and next cell will be shown here. Now let's create another list. So let's say you have a list with the name of numbers, and inside that list you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I have this numbers list, and in that numbers list, how many elements we have? We have 8 elements. In the same way, if you want to create another list, let's say this time mixed data. This is my list name and square brackets because this is a list. And inside it, let's say I wrote Aarohi, then I wrote 1, then I wrote 0.9, and then I wrote true. Okay, true. So from here you can see that single list can have data of different data types. Here Aarohi belongs to string data type. 1 is a integer data type. 0.9 is a float data point. And this is how you create a list. Now let's say you want to see what that list contains. You want to print the output of that list. For that, I have explained you in my previous class that you can use print method. Using print, you can print anything on the screen. So right now I want to print this mixed data list. So write print mixed data, shift enter, you will see the data which is inside that list. So this is how you can create list, and this is how you can print the list. Now let's understand what is indexing. There is a concept with the name of indexing in a list, so we will understand that. So let's work with the same list. Let me copy this list over here. So indexing simply means, let's say you want to work with some specific value. You don't need all the values of the list. You need one specific value. So how we can access that? Let's see that. So for example, you want to print this value only. You want to work with this value only. You don't want to work with all the other 3 values. Then what you can do? So you will write mixed data, the list name, and then square bracket, and then you will write, let's say you only want to work with this. So 0 1 2. So you will write 2 over here, and then you will enter. So see, you can only see this value data point only, and you are not seeing the other data points. Why? Because here we have mentioned specifically that we want to access that element, we want to access that data point which is at index 2. Now how it is at index 2? See, when you work with list, always remember the indexing starts with a 0. That means Aarohi is at index 0, 1 is at index 1, 0.9 is at index 2, and true is at index 3. So that's why we wrote 2 in order to get the data point which is at second index. Okay, so let's say now you want to work with, let's say you want to get only this true. So what you will write? You will write 3 and enter. See, you will get the item over here, the item which is at that index, index number 3, you can see that. Now let's say you have a list and that list is very long and you don't know how many records are there in that list. And your job is, let's say your boss gave you a job to print the latest value of that list. So latest value simply means the very last item of that list is the latest value, but you don't know how many values are there, so you don't know the index. So in that case, what you can do, you will write mixed data square bracket -1 and shift enter. See, true, the last item of that list is true, so we got that. So let's do one thing. Let's copy this list from here and paste this list here, and let's add few values in it. 2.5, 67, 34. Now the last item of our list is 34, so the output should be 34 because this -1 will give you that item which is at last position, the latest item. So shift enter, and you can see the output is 34, which is at the last index. So this is what indexing means. Indexing always start with a 0, and -1 simply means you can show the last item. Now, suppose you want to check the length of the list, means how many different elements are there in the list. You want to check that. So for that, you will write len. Len means length, and in parentheses, write the list name. So for example, our list name is mixed data, and I want to check how many different records are there in this list. So shift enter, and you can see 7 records are there. How? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can know the length of the list using this length method. Now let's suppose your list is already ready, but you want to add one more record at the end of this list. So this list, we want to add one more record at the end of this list. So what we can do? So for that, you will write, first you will write the list name, then you will use the append method, then you will put the parentheses like this, and here you will write whatever you want to add in the list. Okay, so let's say I want to add another name, Neha. Now shift enter. Now let's print the mixed data list to see if Neha is added in that list or not. So you will write print, and then in parentheses just write mixed data and shift enter. See, Neha is added. With the help of this append method, what will happen? You can add the record in the list, but at the end. Now let's suppose you want to remove one particular record from the list. So this is our list. Let's say you want to remove this record. So what will you do? You will write mixed data list name dot remove parentheses and write the item which you want to delete. I want to delete 2.5, shift enter. Now let's print the list again to see if the data is removed. See, now earlier we were having 2.5 over there after true, but now we don't have. That record is removed from the list using this remove method. Now let's say you want to change the value. For example, at the place of 1, you want to enter some different value. You want to modify the record which is at this index. Okay, so for that, what you can do, just write the list name, and then in square bracket write the index where you want to change the value. And remember, I've told you that in list, this first value is at index 0, this is at index 1, this is at index 2, index 3, like this. So let's say at index 3, at the place of true, we want to write false, index 3. So mixed data at index number 3, I want to write false. Shift enter. Now let's print this list again. See, now at the place of true, we have false. So this is how you can modify the records of the list index wise. On the basis of index, you can modify the records. Now let's see how to use for loop with the list. So for loop, what is for loop? Let me explain you. But let's say we have a list. Let me create one new list now. So we have a list with a name of numbers, and let's say we have these numbers over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the 4 numbers we have in it. And now I'm using for loop. You will write for and just take one temporary variable name. So for me, it is num in numbers. This numbers is the this list name. Okay, so for loop I want to run on this list. So for loop simply means that we want to perform some action on the all elements which are there in that list. Means this the operation which we are going to write in this for loop, that operation will work for all the elements one by one. Okay, how? Let me show you. So you will put colon over here because this is the syntax. Whenever you work with for loop, you write like this only, and enter. See, when I did enter, the cursor is over here. The cursor is not at this position. Cursor was at this position. So this is called indentation. Let me write it over here. Indentation. Indentation is very important in Python. If there is a issue with indentation, the indentation is not proper, then you will get an error. Okay, let me show you this practically. So enter, your cursor is over here. So for now, let's say I want to print num, this variable, into 2. What it means? It means that all the numbers which are there in numbers list, all those numbers will be multiplied by 2 one by one, and we can see the output on screen. Let me save it and run it. Shift enter. See, 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 2 into 3 is 6, and then 8. So this is how for loop work. Now let's say, what is indentation? I'm telling you that now. So let's say instead of this print over here, let me write it over here. Now enter. See, you will see a indentation error. So guys, whenever you get this error, indentation error, that means that the code, the lines of code are not at the proper position. You need to write them properly. So in our case, it should be here, then your code will work, right? So this is what indentation means. So guys, this is what list is. So using list, we can store multiple values under a single variable name, and we can have a single list with multiple data types. And in my next video, I'll show you what is next, what to learn next. So guys, now I'm giving you one assignment. Do that assignment. Okay, so this is the assignment. Create a list of 5 numbers. Okay, and then print the first number of that list and the last number of that list, means the first element and the last element of that list, and then add one number in the list. So how you can add the element in the list, I have shown you various methods over here. You will see yourself that whenever we want to add one item in the list, what method we use. Then calculate the average. So you can use a for loop like this only, but at the place of this, you will put the formula of average and you will get the average. And guys, once you done this assignment, comment me, write that assignment done or list done. Guys, this way you will get confidence that you are learning things. So do this assignment. So this is your assignment. Do this assignment, and in my next video, I'll show you the next topic. Thank you for watching.